Hi everyone, it's Chloe from Chloe's Creative Cards, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create this really quick and easy embossed card that will be great for a variety of occasions. We're going to be using some fabulous embossing folders to create our own embossed background onto white card, which has got to look really luxurious. We're going to be using some little crystals to add some detail in. We're going to be using some ribbon. I'm going to show you how to tie a bow, and we're going to be stamping a sentiment too to create this beautiful, quick and easy project. So if you'd like to make this along at home with me, you are going to need a 5x7 white card blank, which I've got here. You're going to need a piece of white card cut down to 4 3/4 inches by 6 3/4 inches. You're going to need 2 of our fabulous embossing folders from the Chloe's Creative Cards range. So we've got the Floral Fantasy embossing folder here, which is beautiful, and you can see how you've got all of like the floral detail in the design, but then you've got little dots in the centre, so these are brilliant for adding little jewels into the middle of. And then we've got this one as well that we're going to be using, which is equally as beautiful. This is from the Chloe's Creative Cards range, and this is the Floral Fantasy Garden embossing folder as well, which is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be using these different materials here. We're also going to be using a sentiment stamp that says "Just for You." This is from the Stamps by Chloe Celebrate Sentiments Clear Stamp Collection, so we're going to be using that for our sentiment. We're going to be using the Wow Embossing Powder Metallic Silver Superfine, which is a beautiful colour just for embossing your sentiments, and it's really super fine, so it's going to pick all of the detail up on there as well. We're going to be using a clear embossing ink pad, which is this one here. I'm going to be using the Wow clear embossing ink pad that's ultra slow drying. This is amazing for all of your stamping and embossing techniques. It is a really sticky ink, so it's going to stay wet a little bit longer. So that means that when you pop your embossing powder on there, it's really going to grab and cling. It is fabulous. You're also going to need a length of ribbon. So I've gone for pink because I'm going to use pink jewels on mine. I've got our little Chloe's Creative Cards crystals in light rose. These are super pretty, so we're going to be using those as well. And you're also going to need a little Bling Stone to go in the middle of your bow, along with some glue, which I've got here. I'm going to use the Arc Glitter Dries clear glue with the fine metal tip on as well. I absolutely adore this glue. I use it so much. And you're going to need an anti-static bag as well. So that's all of the materials that we're going to need to create this fabulous project here, which of course can be adapted for all different occasions. You could be making this in different colours, different styles, so it's going to be a really pretty project that's really easy to follow along at home. As well, you are going to need a scoreboard as well. This isn't essential. I'm going to use the Big Score from Crafter's Companion. It's not essential, but it just gives a nicer finish to your finished project, and I'll talk you through that when we get started. Okay then, let's go. So we are going to start by using our embossing folders. So we're going to take our piece of white card that we've got trimmed down, and we're going to take our Floral Fantasy embossing folder to start with. We're going to place our embossing folder, our card, into the embossing folder, and I'm just lining it up to make sure I've got it nice and straight, which that looks about right there. So I'm just using the coloured pattern on the front of the embossing folder to do that there. So you can take this as far up the card as you like. It's completely up to you. I might just adjust mine a little bit and take it up a little bit further, just because we can do if we want to. There we go. So you can see how that's starting to come together there now. We're going to run that through our die cutting machine. I'm using a Gemini Junior, so I'm going to use my 2 clear cutting plates and just quickly run this through, like so. Okay. So once that's run through your die cutting machine, it's going to give you this beautiful embossed pattern that I'll just show you here. Take this away. Okay, you can see how you've got all of that gorgeous embossed detail on the white card. It is so pretty. So what we're going to do as well now is we're going to take our second embossing folder, which is this design here, and we're going to do exactly the same across the top of the card. So we're going to put this into position here. So you can see how I'm just using my embossing folder to just line it up to make sure I've got that line nice and straight. Then we're going to place that down, and we're going to run this through our die cutting machine again. So again, because I'm using the Gemini Junior, I'm using my 2 clear plates, and then I'm going to just run that through my machine. So this is a really nice, quick and easy project. If you've got wedding invites to make, this will be absolutely gorgeous. if you just want to make some little note cards just to say, you know, just thinking about you, to say hello to people that you maybe haven't seen for a little while, this project would be amazing. So you can see how we've then got the two different embossing folders there. Okay, what we're now going to do is, this is where you can grab in your scoreboard if you want to. So what I've done is, when I got my big scoreboard, I basically kind of put a marker pen down the central channel here, so that gives me a reference point as to where to line up to. So what I then do is find the edge of my embossing folder, so here, okay, and then I just line that up with the edge of that channel and just score down with the score tool. And then if I turn that over, can you see how that gives you that really nice kind of just embossed ridge? So it just finishes off the embossing folder rather than leaving it plain. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the bottom. So I'm just going to go in, line that up so that looks about right to me there. And then just score along with my score tool. And you can see how that then like creates a little band just going across the centre of your white card there. Okay then. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I'm going to wrap that around this central piece here. So we're going to take a little bit of double-sided tape to do that. So we'll pop that on the back and just take that off. We're going to take the back off that tape. Then we're going to take our ribbon. We're going to wrap that all the way around, pulling it nice and tight to make sure you've got that ribbon nice and straight across the centre there. And then we can just trim that off at the back. Okay, what we're then going to do is take a few foam pads and just stick these on. Of course, if you wanted to keep this card flat for posting, you could do as well just by sticking this down flat onto your card blank, but I'm going to use some foam pads for a little bit of dimension here. Okay, I'm going to take the backs off these. Those away. That's then going to get stuck onto our card blank. So this is a 5x7 size card, and we're going to just stick that down in the centre there. That looks about right to me. There we go. So you can see how that's starting to come together. We're going to take our dry clear glue now, and we're going to go in and just where we've got the little dots in the centre of the folder, we're just going to add a little dot of glue into the middle like so. So we're just working our way around, adding our little dots of glue onto there. Okay, and then we're going to take a few of our crystals. So what I tend to do with these is just tip them out because they're not self-adhesive. You do need a little bit of glue to kind of stick these on with. Then I've just got a pencil, like a sticky pickup pencil. I'm just using to stick these down. Like so. I'll just turn a few more over there, but you can see how beautiful this background fills up. So embossing folders are obviously amazing for creating backgrounds on your project, but they're also beautiful to actually use as the main focal feature as well. They just work so well, and if you've got batch cards to make or you want to make a lot of cards quickly and easily, embossing folders are amazing for doing that, and they create such beautiful effects just by kind of embossing onto pearl card as well. You can create a different effect by doing that, or embossing onto mirror card as well, or like a satin mirror card. That looks absolutely awesome too. But I quite like the elegance and the simplicity of just using up your white card and just embossing it. I think it looks so pretty, and like I say, for creating a background maybe behind some flowers, it looks gorgeous. Or if you would like to use it as more of a focal feature as well. I mean, imagine going onto here and tracing it with a glue pen or with your dry clear glue, then maybe popping some of our Crystallina Sparklicious glitter over the top. It would just look absolutely beautiful. So we're going to just finish off. I think we've got 2 or 3 more just to add onto here. Okay, then I'll just move it in to show you. And there we go. And then we can just see how we've got all of those little jewels all nicely layered up there on our embossing folder. If I bring that in really close, can you see the detail there? It is so pretty. A really lovely folder and design, and I've just left the top part plain because I think that embossing folder design, it's like lace. It's absolutely gorgeous. So what we're going to do now is stamp our sentiment. So to do that, I've got a little piece of white card that I'm just going to grab from over here. Okay, we're going to be using a clear embossing ink pad, but to start with, I always recommend that you just give your card a little dust with an anti-static bag. And basically what that's going to do is take away any fingerprints that you may have on your card or any oils that may be on there. Then we're going to take our clear embossing ink pad. So I'm using the one from Wow here, and we're going to ink up our stamp. So a lot of tapping all over. Then we're going to take our stamp and place it down onto our card and press. Then we're going to lift that off, and we're going to take in our Wow Metallic Silver Superfine embossing powder. We're going to sprinkle this over, and normally I'd pop that onto some scrap paper, but I'm being a bit risky today. It's going straight back into the jar there. So you can see how that embossing powder has clung perfectly to that sentiment. What we're then going to do is take our heat gun and just go in and apply some heat. So what I'm doing is, as soon as I see that powder change from a dull grey to a bright silver, I'm just going to move my heat gun over the image. So you can see how that's starting to come together now. Like so that's all nicely heated up. If I hold that up to show you, it doesn't take long for your embossing powder to turn. But you can see how you've got that beautiful metallic silver effect. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take in a trimmer just to kind of trim down our sentiment, just to make sure it's the right size for our project. So you can either use a trimmer to do this, or you could just use a pair of scissors as well, of course, if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. I'm going to bring in my guillotine now. I'm just going to trim this down. So I'm going to take a little bit off there, a little bit off either side. More there. There we go. I'm sure you're all like me at home. You kind of sit judging it, deciding how much you want to take off there. So I'm going to take a little bit more off the edge there. Okay, so if I then turn that round, you'll be able to see how we've got our sentiment trimmed down. Now what I also like to do is, I personally just like to take my scissors and just take the corners off, so it just cuts it into like a little tag shape there. So we are going to grab in our card blank that I've got here, and we're going to just pop our sentiment into place. So we're going to use a foam pad to do that. My foam pads are a little bit large, so I'm going to just trim them in half. Pop a couple onto the back there. Then take the backs off those. That's then just going to go onto our card blank, like so. And then we're going to tie a bow. So the way in which I do this is I take my ribbon, okay, and I'm left-handed, so I use my left hand. I hang my ribbon over my index finger, like so, okay, so it's like hung round. Makes sense? And then I take it and wrap it around my third finger. So you're like doing a figure of 8. So I do it so I've got 3 loops on either finger, like so. Okay. And then you can see how you can take this length, grab it at the back so it's crossing over all of those loops. Then you're going to take the shorter length, tuck it all the way around, and tie a knot in the back. Okay, then when you take that off your fingers, that then creates your lovely bow there. You can then just trim the edges down to whatever size you would like. So I'm just going to take a little bit off there, just put them off at a slight angle. That's going to stop your ribbon from fraying. And then we're going to take a little bit of glue, or a glue dot. I did have a little glue dot, but I've buried it somewhere. Okay, we'll just pop a little bit of glue onto here, just to pop our bow into place. So you can then stick your bow down like so. So just hold that, just give that a couple of minutes just to grab. Okay, if you're obviously using like a glue dot or something like that, it's going to grab straight away. And then if we pop our little jewel in the middle there, so that's just a little bling stone that I've just got on a glue dot, you can see how that would then be your finished project. So if I bring in the one that I made a little bit earlier that's dry, that I can hold up, you can see how we've got that beautiful embossed background, we've got the lovely bow on there, and we've got all of those crystals. If you'd like to have a look at any of the products that we've been using today, be sure to hop over to chloescreativecards.co.uk, where you will find all of the details of the products that we've been using, and you'll be able to view our full range. You can also follow us on YouTube by subscribing to the Chloe's Creative Cards channel. We are on Facebook too, where we post lots of inspiration. We have live stamp-alongs and things like that too, so you can follow us on there. It's Chloe's Creative Cards again. And we also post daily inspiration on Instagram as well. And again, it's Chloe's Creative Cards. So really, really easy to remember. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.